Clarence Williams. This is another edition of Now and Then. Now and Then is a podcast that is intended to compare history with present events. This is very important because what we are striving to do is to show you that really there is nothing new under the sun. Everything that you see that's happening right now, there is some events in the past that has already happened. And so you could look back in the past to see what happened back then, what events took place, what was the outcome, and then it will give you a greater insight as to what is happening right now and eventually what will be the outcome of the events that is happening right now. And it's easy to see. History is so important. And when you don't understand history, when you fail to be concerned about history, uh, you are doomed to the errors of history. And so let me just give you a little insight of history. And please just bear with me, follow along, and then I will tie it all together in the end. This podcast now is Now and Then, Greed and Humanity. Greed and Humanity. Let's go back. In 1929, the Great Depression took place. During that time, Herbert Hoover was the president of the United States. He was the Republican president of the United States. He ran on tariffs. He ran on prosperity. He ran on tax rates, tax cuts. And so that was really the platform in which the Republicans won the White House. Also in 1929, the Great Depression started. The Great Depression started because of the stock market crashing. The stock market crashing, and it lasted for a decade, really from 1929 to 1939, the time of the Great Depression. And during most of that time, Herbert Hoover was in the president of the United States. Now, I'm not suggesting is that Herbert Hoover started the Great Depression. If you go back in time, you'll see that no one ever would just pinpoint and say that it was the platform of the Republicans or the words or the deeds of Herbert Hoover that started the Great Depression. But it's a system. It's a system of events. And one of the greatest things that is said was the stock market crashed. And that's kind of like the investment engine of greed. Hey, say it again. That's the investment interest of greed. If you want to affect change in America, let's go further than that. If you want to affect change in the world, start dealing with the money. If you start dealing with the money, you will get people's attention. It is always about the money. And so Herbert Hoover, 1933, uh, no longer the president. And that's really what they say about the Great Depression. You always talk about 1933. But then FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, became the president in 1933. Now he's also dealing with the Depression because the Depression did not end until 1939. And it is pretty much contributed to World War II, which started in the 1941. 1941, the uh, World War II. And so here we go, and it says that the end of the Great Depression was basically the beginning of the war. You know, World War II started, and the Great Depression kind of people just start spending money now on defense. And we also know that the United States got into World War II because of the Japanese bombing Pearl Harbor. And up until that time, FDR just did not want to get involved. Great Britain, the Soviet Union, and China. It's kind of ironic now that it is the Great Three, because during that time it was the Great Four: Great Britain, the Soviet Union, China, and the United States, with the other smaller countries allying uh, that particular section of the World War, with the others being other side being Germany, Italy, uh, and Japan. And naturally, you had Spain and those other smaller countries in there. But basically, it was the Great Three against the Great Four. And that's what was they was the one that was battling in World War II. And it ended in 1945 when Herbert Hoover, no, it was Truman. After the death of FDR, Truman assumed the presidency, and at that time he authorized the bombing uh, of Japan, which ended pretty much World War II. But up until that time, FDR did not want to get involved until the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. And they bombed Pearl Harbor 1940, 41. And so here we are now. I'm telling you this to try to get you to see greed versus humanity. But it all starts somewhere. Well, really, it didn't even start there, but you could go all the way back. But I don't want to go that far back. So here we are now. World War II has ended. Now, these superpowers, Great Britain, United States, Russia, or USSR, and China, these powers now still battling against each other for supremacy of the world. And the United States, is winning the war for supremacy. Uh, they started getting allies all over the world. We are the largest GDP in the world. We are the strongest in the world. We are the richest in the world. And that came about because of our democracy, our form of government. Everyone looked for the United States. And the United States, after World War II, started reaching out, continued to reach out, and form allies with all of these smaller countries and helping them. That was the system, helping them. That's humanity side. Even though the greed was already there, we were helping humanity. Uh, and as a result of that, people start catering to the United States. The dollar eventually became the currency of the whole world. Even though countries have their own currency, when it comes down to trading, They basically trade in U.S. dollars because that is viewed as the secure currency of the world. Wasn't already always so, but that is the way that things are right now. So everyone understand that, everyone knows that, and now you have, when I say now, I'm talking about after World War II, you have Russia or the Soviet Union battling for dominancy, you have China battling for dominancy, and you have the United States battling for dominancy. Great Britain kind of fell out because Great Britain is not as strong, world was not as strong as China and the United States and the USSR. But now you have, when I say now, I'm talking about this state. You have the United States as the dominant market in the world. Everyone want to deal with the over $30 trillion GDP of the United States. 30 trillion. That's greed now. I'm showing you the greed. $30 trillion. The next closest one to that as far as GDP, gross domestic product, is China. And it is only 19 trillion. See the difference? See the disparity? And yet here now we have a president that comes and says that he wants to make America great again. When have America not been great in the sense that he's talking about? Now, most people go back and they say, well, you can't get black people to say that America was ever great. Well, he's not talking about that. He's talking about greed. He's talking about dollars. And his position, just like uh, Herbert Humphrey, his position was uh, to make a great America great again. That's what Herbert Humphrey ran on, prosperity. In fact, most, if no, all presidents of the United States have a platform of prosperity. That's what they run on because if they start running on, well, we're not going to be concerned about your bottom line, your dollars going into your pocket. They're not going to win. Everyone want to have money. Money is the capital. I mean, it rules the world. Yeah. And so that's no big thing as far as what Donald Trump is running on. What's happening is how he is going about it. In his first presidency, he ran on tax cuts and it's tax cut for the rich. Let me explain why he says it like that. Because he says if you put more money back into the companies that is hiring the people that are generating the commerce, then that will give them more incentive to invest back into America, hire more people. It makes sense, logical sense, but it did not work out that way, and it has never worked out that way. When you give big companies, big corporations money back by cutting their taxes lower than it is already cut, they're going to pocket that money. And that's what they keep doing. But Donald Trump, the second term, ran on it again. And you had all of these big corporations lining up again to support him. Why? Because they want the tax cut. That's the greed. Now, how is he going to pay for this? He's going to pay for this by Doge. Elon Musk is going to go and he's going to mainstream all of these different departments. He's going to get rid of some of the departments. He's going to lay off people. Why? Because they have to pay for this large tax cut. That's the only way they're going to do it. Now he's saying that past executive order that no, everything that Biden was trying to do for the students that has the student loans, you're gonna have to start paying now. Remember COVID, they kind of stopped it a little bit, and then Biden in his term tried his best to get uh, reductions of uh, those students' loans, and Republicans fought it all the way. Now Donald Trump simply said, "You, it's time to pay up. You're gonna have to pay up." Why is he saying that? Because he still has to pay for this big tax cut. He want to get your money now and then give it to the rich. The rich is already rich. Again, we have over 30 trillion GDP, the largest economy in the world, but they still want more. And the way he's going to do it, he's going to take from the poor and give to the rich. And that's why the rich is supporting him. And he knows that, and everyone knows that. Mitch McConnell, now that he's no longer going to run for re-election, all of a sudden he is going to come out saying the same thing. That tariffs is just a way to pay for the tax cuts. Well, while Donald Trump during his first term was talking about Mitch McConnell's wife, Mitch McConnell was still voting for him. And then he justified it by saying he's not voting for Donald Trump, he is voting for the policies. Okay, you are voting for Donald Trump and you're going along with Donald Trump because you don't want Donald Trump to put someone against you doing your primary. And that's the way all of these lawmakers are. And they have seen. You see, people are not really afraid of Donald Trump. They are afraid of the people that support Donald Trump. And there is a percentage of people, regardless of what Donald Trump does, they're going to support it no matter what. I mean, that number, that percentage at one time was up to 45%. It did not matter when Donald Trump said something, at least 45% of the people in America was going to support him. That's 45% of 335 million people. That's a lot of people. Now he ran the second term and he got his presidency with over 40, 48 million people. That's a lot of people voting for him. That's not only just that 45%. I think that's about 52% of the people that actually voted. Not only did he win the electoral college, he won the popular vote. And why did he win the popular vote? I mean, that's up for discussion. Did he win because people believed that he was best on the economy, even though the first time he tanked the economy? But they still believe this businessman. No, yeah. Did he win? Did he win because they just could not bring themselves to vote for a black woman? I don't know. Did he win because they just lost favor with Joe Biden, and so it didn't matter whomever else was going to be running for the Democrat position? I don't know. I do know that despite everything that America knew about Donald Trump, he is still the president. Despite all of uh, the wrong and the lawlessness that happened during the uh, Republicans being in the House and in the Senate, especially the House. They still have the House, and now they also took the Senate. Something is going on. Greed, greed, instead of humanity. Greed. During World War II or after World War II, it was all about humanity helping people. Even though there's always been greed, we are a capital society. It's all about making the money. But there was a lot of humanity involved in it. U.S. aid now, Donald Trump has cut all of that out. No more aid going around the world. Why? Because he has to generate those dollars. Social Security is under attack, cutting out offices, satellite offices all around the United States, firing people in Social Security offices all around. Medicaid, Medicare, all of those things, food stamps, all of those things are being scaled back, cut out of the budget, a percentage of the budget. Why? Because he has to make up that money, that shortfall that's going to come from that great tax cut. And everyone knows that. And so people that are filthy rich, they are for Donald Trump because Donald Trump is going to put money in their pocket. Not humanitarian, but the greed now. The farmers that voted for Donald Trump, they knew that Congress had to bail them out the first time that Donald Trump put tariffs on China. But they know now if they, you know, have a problem with paying their bills and selling their products right now, Donald Trump is in charge and he's going to get Congress to bail them out again. That's free money. That's welfare. Yeah, yeah. And so they are going to vote for him. And that 33% that's right now that's going to vote for him regardless, are going to support regardless, they are losing their jobs. They still voting. Their 401ks is going. They are still voting. Stock market is crashing. They are still voting. Why? Because somewhere down the line, they're going to get their money back. Somewhere down the line, they see Donald Trump as that great hope that's going to make them prosperous. Remember the great rush going west? What was that about? Greed, free land. It wasn't free. They had taken it from the Indians, but in their mind, it's free. And every treaty that was passed, that was signed with the Indians and with the United States government, not the people, but with Washington, D.C. Whenever there was gold or some type of mineral that was found on that particular land that was Indian land, they broke the treaty. Why? Greed. And that's just the way things are. Ronald Reagan comes up and he did a lot of good things. He did a lot of good things, but he was for trade. Bill Clinton was for globalization of trade. Everything is happening. Now, Donald Trump comes along and he is so much in favor of tariffs and he keep lying and people still keep believing his lies that we don't pay for the tariffs. That the other countries that is importing pays for the tariffs. Now all of a sudden your cars are going up. Your appliances are going up. Your groceries is going up. Everything that he says that was going to be happening, that he was going to solve on day one, is still there. But we still have 33% of the people. That's the problem. There are some people that, regardless of what happened, they're just going to always be there. for whatever reason. I don't want to get into why, because that's a whole nother podcast, and you still won't have the answer to the reason why, because people have their own different reasons for doing things. But greed versus humanity is real, and until people start being concerned about the humanity of people, you're going to always have this problem. Now, the Democrats come up and they become president, they become Senate leader and House leader and all that. They still have greed. So it's not one side or the other. It's just the Republicans are more concerned about capitalism than they are about humanity. And the Democrats have that greed and humanity concern. Remember when Chuck Schumer voted and went along with the CR, the continuing resolution of the budget? He had that greed and that humanity side, but he is negotiating with Donald Trump that only has a greed side. So he's going to lose that war every time because Donald Trump will let the United States government shut completely down. Doesn't care about that humanity. Whereas Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, has that humanity side. Now let me wrap up. China comes and says, "Listen, I see what you're doing. We were allies in World War II, but now I am for my country and you are for your country. And I am not going to allow you to get more richer at the expense of my country. I have more people than you, but you are richer. You have more power. You have more GDP. You have more to offer me as far as dollars are concerned than I have to offer you. And so I want to do business with you, but I have maybe something that you don't have. I have integrity. I have uh, pride, and I am willing to fight you all the way. I'm in this thing to win it. Now, other countries, Donald Trump says that they are going to come and kiss his backside, and they are ready to do that. China is saying, I'm not going to do that. And as long as you keep disrespecting me, I'm not going to even talk to you. And so here we are. Both is greed. China and the United States and Russia, not even getting into Russia, but China and the United States, both are greed. Neither one is humanity. But now you have two greed powers fighting against themselves. The only problem is one is an autocracy and one is a republic. One does not have to worry about primary and re-election, and the other one has to get it done. So Donald Trump has to get it done before November of next year, because that's when the primary is going to start. That's when midterms is going to come. So he is in threat of losing the House and the Senate by next year. And if he does that, then he won't get anything done. So the question is, why is he trying to get all of this stuff done right now? Because he know if he doesn't get it done, he's in threat of losing. And all of those people that is the them. Remember I talked about us versus them. All of those people that are the them, those big companies that supported him are now in his ear at the White House because they are losing. Their market share is going down. They are losing trillions and millions of dollars. And the us, we just sit back and we're watching it and paying more for eggs. That's all we're doing. And saying we see what's happening and marching. It's time to stop marching and it's time to start voting. It's time to stop listening to what people tell you and know what you and believe what you know to be reality. What you see with your own eyes instead of what people are telling you, believing in lies over and over and over again. I asked the question, what is wrong with you? You believe everything and anything someone tells you. You believe it. Especially if that person is Donald J. Trump. This is Clarence Williams. This is now. This is then. This is greed and humanity. Have a great day.